Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Dumaguete Brownout of August 2026. Now, fortunately for me, I was able to reinstate the gas range. So I did get my hot cup of coffee and got a bunch of devices charged up, like my portable fan, my karaoke jam box, and my laptop. However, I don't know if the cell towers reduce power or what, but I cannot get the hotspot to work. So that's kind of a bummer. Anyway, that was my Samsung phone trying to use as a hotspot. Here's my iPhone outside, and I only have LTE 1 bar. You can barely see that. Anyway, my vlogging assistant's on her way over, and maybe we're going to go out to lunch or something. Maybe find a place outside of the brownout area. Has a nice restaurant, maybe a resort somewhere. I was suggesting we ride all the way up to Fatima Santa Catalina, or almost, to Seven's Hideaway Resort. But then I realized, or remembered, that that is not an Aircon restaurant, even though I have one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had in my life. So I don't know, maybe we'll get on Jollibee, that's the Suzuki SV250, and just start riding. I don't know if we want to ride up to, what is that, the west side of the island or the east side? I don't know. We're probably going to have to go at least as far as Amlan, Tanhai on the west. God, is that the west side? I think that's the west side. I've only had one cup of coffee, guys. Or as far up, I think we have to go at least as far as SIATON to get electricity that way. And I don't know what's going on up in the mountains, like Pamplona. Well, that's Tanhai. Anyway, we're going to see what happens. Got Dennis, the detail guy, do a number on Jollibee, so she's looking really good. Oh, and I just saw the black PCX. Thank goodness. Some dude and his wife and 2 kids came over from Apple Island, and they bought it. You know, had to spend the requisite hour and a half in the attorney office on a Saturday. And turns out that was the same attorney office that did the paperwork when I bought the bike from Goldfinger. And that was a trip. So the paralegals did the paperwork, and one of them got on a scooter and presumably rode the paperwork out to a golf course so the attorney could sign it. I don't know, man. But anyway, we're going to try and salvage the day, and we'll see you in a bit. But we are vlogging. So say good morning to May, and we're off to first stop Robinson's Mall because she needs internet connectivity, right? How many messages were you able to send to your friends today?
I don't know.
Any? Many?
Yeah.
But then it cut off.
Yeah.
I think the reason is because during a brownout, I think they cycle power on the cell towers. I don't know, but I'm going to look that up, and I'll put that up there. Anyway, we're going to ride Jollibee out to SIATON. Did I say that right this time? SIATON. I said it right. All right, see you in a bit. All right, we made it to Rob's Mall. This is the new section they got going on. I've seen some stuff online, like they're acting like it's open. Have you seen this yet? No? Yeah, it almost looks like an airport, doesn't it? That's gonna be exciting. Yeah, L4 Wellness Zone. All right, you should start checking for Wi-Fi. You gonna check? All right, she's gonna check for Wi-Fi. We're gonna see if my friend Ivy's working at her business that she owns here. All right, see you all in a bit. Oh, and then we're gonna get one of those icy fruit drinks, if you have Wi-Fi. All right, it's all dependent on the Wi-Fi. good job because my iPhone is not telling me how to get places. And here we are on the other side of the island. And I think Miss May is not terribly pleased. Oh, but I learned something. Apparently there are riding signals that the passenger on the back can give the rider. Like when everything's calm, right? You know, puts hand on your waist, you know, nice and calm, okay? All of a sudden you feel a jab in your side, that's a problem, right? I was going too fast. She did not hesitate to let me know. Alright, so I'm about to die of heat stroke. I need a restaurant, air conditioning, food, and she needs Wi-Fi. So we're going to get right back on that and see you in a bit. Alright, so I got all the footage off the camera and threw it into Filmora. And there just wasn't enough there to make a full video, right? So I'm going to have to finish it off this way. Alright, so where we just finished off in the video, we're on the side of the National Road 7, just almost all the way to SIATON, and, oh, or maybe we're on the other side. Anyway, my iPhone was not being of any help finding us a restaurant with Aircon, with internet, and in fact it just wasn't working at all, and I really don't know what the problem was. Finally it started to work, but that was irritating. And by that point, I was near heat exhaustion and just not in a good mood. May was pleasant, but very quietly and obviously not pleased. And, I don't know. I guess we could have, oh man, there just went a bat. Maybe I should move over a few feet because they tend to fly the same route. But yeah, finally I asked her, I said, hey, are you hungry? She said, no. I said, you know what, I am, but let's just start heading back because I'm about to die. So we were coming back through SIATON and I saw a 7-Eleven. I thought, okay, there's one place on God's green earth that has aircon and something cold to drink. It's got to be a 7-Eleven. Well, they had cool drinks. I went ahead and got a Coca-Cola regular, and she got some fruit drink. And there were these kids out front. One little girl, oh god, motorcycle exhaust, you know, was asking May for some change. She didn't have any on her. May came back over and said, you know, did that girl ask you for some change? I said, yeah. Go give her this. So she went over there and gave her 10 pesos and came back. Well, I was doing my thing, cooling off and whatnot. But, oh yeah, well anyway, one thing I need to look up is whether or not the cell towers cycle power during a brownout. Because I don't think those go down all the way. I mean, you know, I don't think they can because, you know, emergency services and all that. Because before we left for our great exodus, I set my iPhone up to be a hotspot. I swear I had like 3 bars on LTE and everything was just looking great. Then boom, no bars. And I've seen similar behavior in the past, but anyway, I'll look that up and I'll try to remember to include that here somewhere. But I plan to go back. We are going to go back to SIATON. We're going to do that town. We're going to figure out the good resort. I mean, there were resorts, and this one, after I figured out how to get Google Maps to work, it worked, but then again it didn't, and it's hard to explain. Maybe just heat stroke on my part, man, I don't know. But anyway, this one resort was like, it looked to be on the coast, which made sense, but then it had us, you know, make a couple of questionable turns on smaller and smaller paved roads, and then we're on this gravel road, and then one more turn. You know, thank God I was on the SV because I had to basically jump a 6 or 8 inch, well, several things of that magnitude, right? And well, the PCX would not have done well. The ADV would have survived, but the SV250, like it's nothing, man. Nothing. Piece of cake. But, yeah, and the SV did great on the highway. I started going too fast. In fact, I need to get back with May and ask her about these, backseat driver signals that she's giving me, right? Because, she has one of her hands on my waist, and sometimes it's not moving at all. Sometimes it's moving slow and calm. And then when I was going too fast, she jabbed her thumb in my ribs. She's like, what the was that? So I pulled over and said, hey, I just said rest brake, but why did you jam your thumb in my ribs? You were going too fast. Like, well, okay. I mean, I need to buy us new helmets, right? I actually purchased HJC helmets, pretty expensive for the PH. I think they were $12,000 for the pair. And but we measured carefully our heads, ordered one size up, just like the Lazada ad recommended. And man, they were just way too tight. But I have this V12 intercom system that I think I know how to make. Well, obviously I can make it work between us, but I also know how to make that work into the vlogs, so we can have that kind of our conversations, I think, into the vlog while we're writing. So there can be some of her voice when she's jabbing her thumb deep into my rib cage, because I'm going 120 kph, right? But no, we resurrected today, I think, for the most part. And oh yeah, at the 7-Eleven. So anyway, we're out, getting ready to get back on the bike, and these two dudes were in 7-Eleven just staring at us, just flat out eyeballing us, or me. And had my helmet on. I said, hang on, I'm gonna go talk to those guys. Pleasant, I approached with a smile and said, hey guys, here's my calling card, YouTube, check us out. And it was all fine, and we left and just started hauling butt back home. And pleasant surprise, the electricity had returned, and we were home by, I think, in the late 2 o'clock hour. The apartment was nice and cold, because that's how I left it, and it's just like, oh, thank God. And well, anyway, I'm pretty much back to normal now, and I apologize. I just ran out of steam, couldn't concentrate on. I didn't even know where my camera was. I was so hot and sweaty. It was ridiculous. It's borderline dangerous. All right, I guess that's all for this one. As always, y'all stay blessed.